So, when we start homeschooling, a lot of times we think about buying curriculum, signing up for co-ops or sports, but what about some more uncommon resources? This is part 2 of our series on uncommon resources, and we are Amanda Wares and Melanie Willis. This is the Homeschool Show for North Carolinians for Home Education. Welcome.
So today, Amanda, we're going to look at some interviews that you sat down with and spoke with Cindy Dye, who is a librarian in Greensboro, and then Shayna Westlink, who is the membership director of the YMCA in Jamestown. And
Yes.
you had some really great conversations that really kind of help us to think out of the box on some uncommon resources for homeschooling. And then after that, we're going to have a new Homeschool Helps with Amanda. And then, of course, some homeschool news. So, Amanda, let's see. You sat down with Cindy Dye. Is there anything you'd like to tell us about that before we get started?
I think it's super fun that she homeschooled her own kids all the way through and worked at the library at the same time. So I think that's a little bit of a neat tie-in also that she was a working homeschool mom as well. I think that's really cool to take into account in addition to all the amazing resources that are available at the library. It's really fun.
Very good. Let's give that a listen.
All right, I am here with my friend, Miss Cindy Dye. So, Cindy, tell our watchers and listeners out there just who you are and what you do.
Well, I am a former homeschool mom, and I began homeschooling the same month that I started working with the Greensboro Public Library. So I've worked with the library for 27 years. I graduated both of my children from our homeschool, and I've worked in 3 different locations in Greensboro, but always with children's services. I have children who come in now. Their parents were children that I saw in the beginning. So it's
Wow.
kind of come in full circle, generations. And that is really heartening. It's, it just really gets you right there.
Yes, for sure. For sure. That is so neat. So, a lot of people don't realize just how much the library has to offer. And I would love, because you have that experience both in the homeschool world and in the library, to really be able to share the resources that the library has to offer. I think especially of people maybe that live in places that don't have a huge homeschool community, but they definitely have a public library.
Right.
Or places or families maybe that are struggling financially, which is a lot of us these days, that maybe
Right.
the library could help in that situation too.
Some of the things that I automatically think of course, are our databases that people don't realize that they have access to, free access to, with their library card. I am also a huge proponent of getting a library card from every library you can. Because you have access. Now, not everybody's going to let you do that, but I have a library card to a county in Virginia, and I have access to a Hoopla account through them, and that is great. The things that we have access to are, of course, your audiobooks and your music, movies, documentaries that would help with education. If your child's even your older children, if they're studying more in-depth subjects, can look for those documentaries. And you can download an ebook, an audio book, and listen to it or read it on the road. Take it with you because it downloads to your device. And the wonderful thing is of course, there are no overdue fees or fines, you're not late turning them in, they just disappear off your device.
Yep,
Sometimes that's frustrating, but it really makes it easy for moms who don't have to remember to turn it back in.
absolutely.
And if you have a child who's very curious, I would just let them go and reach whatever their interest is. There are
Awesome.
also
Mhm.
documentaries and certain things that you can look at where they combine all the information in one. So there maybe there's a book and then there's a movie or a documentary that goes along with it. So it's almost like an encapsulated unit study.
Yeah. Wow.
What and you and I both know that if you can grasp what they're interested in, then they will and turn it into their whatever, their math, their spelling, their language arts. That is the key to
Yes,
capturing their interest.
I
Um,
love that. I know you have done some in-person different clubs and things.
mhm,
Maybe you could talk a little bit about that because even if people are from other places, maybe their library has that, or maybe they could suggest it.
mhm. Um, right now, my library has a multicultural focus, and
Mhm.
because of that, I have a series of programming that I began um, about a year ago called Cultural Connections.
Mm.
And it's where we study a culture and a country or continent, and we are looking at it through the foods, maps, flags, the different crafts and
Mhm.
art that come out of that culture. And that is very helpful. That program is from 3 to 4 in the afternoon,
Mhm.
and everybody is welcome to come. You don't have to register for it, just show up. But we are also looking at the Chinese Moon Festival, the Autumn Moon Festival
Yeah.
in China, and that will happen in October. In December, we'll be doing Las Posadas, which is a Hispanic holiday that happens not just in Hispanic countries, but also in the Southwest states in the United
Oh,
States. And that
neat.
is associated with Christmas.
I love
Um,
that.
we've got some robotics demonstrations that are happening, and I know many homeschoolers are interested in that for their children.
All right. I think that's great. Um, let's see. Can you think of anything else that you want to share with our watchers and listeners about the library?
Well, and this is something I've posted recently on a lot of the homeschool Facebook groups, is that a Greensboro Public Library card, you can get one and you do not have to live in Greensboro. In fact, you do not have to live just in Guilford County. You can get a Greensboro Public Library card if your county touches Guilford County.
Wow. So
So
that's quite
a
a few
lot of the
counties. Yeah.
surrounding counties, Alamance, Rockingham, Forsyth,
Mhm.
Randolph, you
Mhm.
can get a Greensboro Public Library card with no problem. You do
Amazing.
have to have your picture ID
Mhm.
that has your current address or a piece of mail with your current address to get a Greensboro Public Library card. And I encourage you to go onto the Greensboro Public Library website, which is greensborolibrary.org, and look under that research tab and look at all the databases that are available to you with your Greensboro Public Library card. And you
That's
will be so
amazing.
surprised. You can access Ancestry
Oh,
if you're
wow.
doing a genealogy study, those people who are like, "Oh, let's research our family tree."
Yeah.
You can
Wow.
do that through Ancestry. Now, you may have to come into the library to access it, but
Okay.
it is available.
That is so neat.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know that for years and years, we have said, people ask, how much does it cost to homeschool? And we've always said, if you have a library card,
Mhm.
you can homeschool. If you have no
Right.
money at all, you
Mhm.
can do it. There's all those
Yes.
resources available. I think that's awesome.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Miss Cindy.
You are very welcome, and I hope to see all of our friends at the library. See you soon.
I really love that there are so many great resources that I had no idea even existed, and they are available for free with your library card, which just, nails down what we have said, I have said for years and years. You can truly homeschool for no money
Yeah.
if you have a library card. And this just proved it that there's so many cool resources available.
Absolutely. A lot of what she said really reminded me of the 5 in a row books. And that goes hand in hand with a library anyway, because you're basically just getting a library book and teaching all these subjects to all your ages out of one book.
Mhm.
And I think that that's just fabulous. And especially like, once I bought 2 different 5 in a row books, I think it was, and went through them, I didn't need that resource anymore. I was able to go and get a library book and figure that out for myself because I kind of saw how it happened, and that you
Right.
can just use one library book that you can look at and say, oh, this library book was meant for an early education child, and be able to teach all the way
Mhm.
through high school out of a library book that just tells a story. And that's free.
Isn't that incredible? Yeah, absolutely. And it really does demonstrate that this is homeschooling. This is education, that you don't have to have worksheets, answer the questions, check the box,
Right.
the beauty of exploring a great book and all that it has to offer and all the different ways it can make you think and you can draw things out of it is just, I love that too. It's one of
So
my
much more
one
real.
of my favorite things.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And so I do want to mention now, because I guess 2 years ago, I had taken several of my teenagers to our local community college. And while we were touring the community college, they told us that the library there is actually open to the public. And so that's a really great resource that you should all check out. If you have a community college local to you, can you go to that library? 'Cause that just really opened
How
up a lot more. So now let's listen to your interview with Shayna.
All right. I am here with one of my dearest friends and also a director of at the YMCA. So she's going to tell us a little bit about some uncommon resources that maybe you guys haven't thought about.
Yeah.
So, would you please introduce yourself to our watchers and listeners? Tell us a little bit about your own homeschooling experience and then about what you're doing now.
Sure. Well, I'm Shayna Westlink. I am, as Amanda said, the membership director at the Ragsdale YMCA here in Jamestown. I am a longtime homeschool mom.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yep.
18 years, we homeschooled our 3 kids from kindergarten all the way through high school. All 3 of them are now adults and graduated from college, all 3 of them as of May. Praise Jesus. I owned a bakery for a few years in between kind of homeschooling and what was next. And then this opportunity at the Y opened up. So I am now the membership director at the YMCA.
That's awesome. So, we're talking about uncommon resources. A lot of times I think when people think about homeschooling, they think curriculum, they think
Mhm.
co-ops maybe, but they don't usually think about the why. But you guys actually have a lot to offer
We
to
do.
homeschoolers. So tell us a little bit about some of the things, not just necessarily at your why, but just the why in general.
Sure. Yeah. So I know I say that all the time that I wish I knew more about the Y when I was homeschooling my own kids. We were members of the Y briefly, but we do have a lot to offer that I think sometimes goes unnoticed, or
Mhm,
sometimes we might think it's for members only and you don't want to be a member. But we actually have a
mhm,
lot of things that are for both members and community guests. So, of course, we have all the sports. We have swimming, we have basketball, soccer, volleyball, t-ball, baseball, flag football is making a comeback. And then some of the other Ys have things even like cricket and,
oh,
of course, pickleball. And one of the things we have specifically this year that we started at our branch is actually a homeschool PE class led by one of our homeschool moms. And that's going really well. That's on Tuesday mornings for an hour and a half. That session will be wrapping up mid-December, but she'll be starting another one in March. So March
Mhm.
through May, we'll have another session of our homeschool PE, which is a great, great resource. She does a phenomenal job and it's very, very affordable, which is always important to us homeschool families.
that's right.
A few other things that we have that you might not think of. We actually now have teen weightlifting at the Y. We have a Couch to 5K that's going to be going on the middle of October that the whole family can get involved in. And that will kind of come to fruition at our December reindeer romp. So the whole family could come out and run the 5K together after training for it together at the Y. So I think that's a
Mhm.
unique piece that we just started doing as well.
Neat.
A couple other things that are unique is our kids programming at the Y. So a lot of times you think, oh, well, that's only for kids who are in public school, but actually it's not.
Mm.
So my daughter, Chloe Westlink, is the youth development director at our Y. Um, she's worked at the Y for many years and now she's a director. So she runs things like after school. And you may think, well, what would that look like for a homeschool family? Well, we actually have a few homeschool families who bring their children to our after school program just so they can socialize, interact with other kids. It's very affordable. They swim, they do all kinds of like arts and crafts, they have homework time, they hang out in the gym, they go out on the soccer field. So they do a lot in that time, and that's
Mm.
from 2 to 6 each day. So that is an option for homeschoolers as well.
Mhm.
And summer camp, and for you parents out there, we have kids night out. So that's once a month. You can drop your children off at the Y. They run a full 4 hours of entertainment for them, including dinner. And I
Wow.
think I might have the fees wrong, but I think if you're a member, it's like $25. If you're a guest,
Oh,
it's like 30. It's a very affordable night out. So those are just a few of the unique things that we have beyond just sports kind of thing.
yeah. So I know I was really surprised that there are even some leadership type
Mhm.
clubs for youth that
Mhm.
I thought that would be a wonderful opportunity for some kids out there.
It is a great opportunity. So everything that I'm telling you about is also on our website. So you can always go to the website and search information there. But that's
Mhm.
called our Y Leaders. And Y Leaders is for middle and high schoolers.
Mhm.
Um, Currently, that meets every Wednesday from 3:30 to 6:30, and that does meet at the branch. It's running September through April. And the only eligibility is grades 8 through 11. And I believe the monthly fee for that is it's $40 for members and $50 for a guest. They do a lot of things. They get hands-on experience with service projects. They can earn, I believe, up to 120 hours of volunteer time, which
Oh,
I know for our family personally, that was kind of always hard to figure out how to fit that in for some of those awards and things that homeschoolers can get, but you need that vital piece of volunteering. Um,
Yeah.
they have group outings, they go to the movies, basketball games, they do college tours, and then they also do some YMCA job shadowing, so shadowing directors in different positions within the Y.
mhm.
And they do a lot of just volunteering in general. I know that they've helped me on several projects. So that's a really good source as well.
Neat.
Yeah,
That is so cool and something that I never had heard of until a little while ago. So I thought that was a great resource.
it is. Yeah.
I know I know that this isn't available in our local area, but in some of
Mm.
the Ys, I know in the Charlotte area or the Raleigh area, they actually have full on classes, right?
They do. A couple of the Ys in those regions actually host co-op classes and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So if you're interested and you don't feel like there's other co op opportunities in your area, check out the Y. That might be a great resource as well.
definitely. We're always looking for staff, and homeschoolers
Mm,
make great employees. So if you have
Yes.
someone, there's some positions that are as young as 16. But we have
Yeah.
a lot of different openings. There's a careers tab on our website, and that will show you all the job opportunities across the Greensboro Association.
Okay.
So even if you like live in Reedsville or Eden, things like that, those Ys are part of our association. And I think they make a great place for even like first job for
Yeah.
homeschool kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great
No,
employee
I think
plus
that's
opportunity for homeschoolers.
absolutely. And we will definitely put the link to the YMCA at large in the
Mhm.
show notes and also the YMCA Greensboro so people can
Awesome.
find out what's going on. So thank you so much for
Good. Yeah.
joining me and telling us about what you're doing and what's available at the Y.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right. So this is also super fun because my friend Shayna, we have known each other a very long time, and she also is a retired homeschool mom. And I feel like all of her homeschool experience really works so well hand in hand with what the Y has to offer the homeschool community. And it's really amazing. They truly are wanting to reach out and be a resource for the homeschool community. And I think most places in the state have a YMCA. So it's a great way and fairly low cost to reach out and just see what what do you have to offer.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. And if you're really interested in the getting active thing, you should go back to the previous episode if you did not listen to that last week's episode because you spoke with the guy that had recess. So that's another great uncommon resource to get active.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
Amanda, we love it
yes.
when you have Homeschool Helps. And so you have a brand new Homeschool Helps for us this week. What do you got for us?
Sure do. So this week, I am going to talk about deschooling. I know, it's October towards the end, but people are still, they've had several weeks, little more than a month of public school. And maybe now they're like, maybe I do want to pull my kids out and homeschool. And so, what does it look like to deschool? So, first off, what is deschooling? It is the idea of when you pull someone out of a brick and mortar school, you take some time to kind of get that out of your system so that you can start fresh and not bring whatever ideas that your student has or you have about what is education, what that looks like. If you pulled them out for a negative reason, you don't pull that into your homeschool experience. You just take some time to let all that go. There are some great resources out there about ideas of some things you could do. You could spend time and go on field trips and just be together as a family and without feeling the pressure of we need to sit down and have school every day from this time to this time or whatever. That you just allow yourself and your student a time to let go of the past, let go of that brick and mortar school experience, and really be able to start new with what homeschooling is going to look like in your house. A good recommendation that I have heard is for every year that the student was in brick and mortar school, maybe a month of deschooling. That sounds like a lot, but I think it might be in some cases necessary, especially if there's hard things, if there was bullying or just a really negative experience. I think the more negative the experience, maybe the more time you need to heal from that and be able to start fresh with homeschooling. I will add some resources to help in the show notes. But just know that if you are pulling somebody out to homeschool, pulling them out of brick and mortar school, public, private, whatever, that it is okay to take some time. It is okay and even recommended to take some time and just be able to let it go and start completely fresh with your new homeschool journey.
Just take a break. And I think it's important to also recognize as you go through the rest of your homeschool journey that you don't fall back into bringing in that same exact replica of what we did in public
Yes.
school. And I know for me, having been a public schooler and then having taught in public school, I've really had to watch myself consistently for many years now because I'll try to bring in a little bit of that. Nope. Let's stop.
I know. It's so easy to do, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like we just kind of revert to our experience
Yeah.
and that just becomes what we're doing. Even if we don't want to, it still happens. So,
That's right.
yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
All
Okay.
right. How about the news?
Yes,
What do we have?
let's listen to the homeschool news.
Hello, this is Matthew Willis, husband of the Homeschool Show's co-host, Melanie Willis, and I'm here to bring you your homeschool news. More NCHE tickets have been added for A Christmas Carol to take place on Wednesday, December 10th in High Point. Be sure to get yours today as sales will end soon. There's also a few tickets left for this year's NCHE field trip to the Charlotte Ballet for everyone's favorite, the Nutcracker. This will take place on December 17th. We know you will want to take part in this delightful holiday event. Tickets for both of these events can be found online at nche.com/activities. This just in. NCHE Day at the Hornets will take place Saturday, January 24th at the Spectrum Center in Charlotte. You can join the excitement when the Hornets take on the Washington Wizards for some NBA basketball. Once again, the Hornets are offering North Carolina homeschool families a great opportunity for a full day of fun. Admission includes the game against the Wizards, the Hornets' special Faith and Family Concert, and exclusive fan experiences for kids ages 5 through 18. Be sure to visit the website for more details. Lastly, will you have a student graduating this coming spring? Well, NCHE offers several opportunities to meet your graduate's needs. Learn more on our website at Graduate Central. And until next time, this is Matthew Willis with your homeschool news. Have a great day.
So we do look forward to all these activities coming up, especially, in December as, these plays get us into the festive mood and looking forward already to Thrive. And I hope that we can see you all there. Once we get past the holidays and everything, we'll start talking a little bit more about Thrive and the speakers that are going to be there. And I hope we'll get to see you there.
As always, guys, like, subscribe, share with your friends. It really does help us, and we want to hear from you. I know we have talked about this before, but if you have a comment, a question, a suggestion, please send it to us. We look at every single one. You can reach us at thehomeschoolshow@nche.com. Also, we really want to share some of your holiday traditions. So if you have a very short 30 seconds to a minute video of yourself or your kids talking about your holiday traditions in your homeschool, please send that to us as well. That would be super helpful and a lot of fun. We'd love to share it.
And you can send those to us at thehomeschoolshow@nche.com.
right, everybody, have a great week. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.